I just want to thank you for joining us. Welcome to the GMAP Broadcast Network, GMAP1.com, and we do have our partner networks joining us. They have figured out the issue. We have all the necessary and correct information that we want to show you as far as the publications, as far as every amazing thing that could happen. To God be the glory. Now, I'm going to start from scratch. I want to say, coming up in just a few seconds, we have an amazing young man. Amazing young man. He is one of our featured authors here on the GMAP Broadcast Network, GMAP1.com. We want you to simply stop by our platform, and when you do so, click on the tab that is simply titled Featured Authors, okay? And when you do click on those tabs, you'll see the necessary publications that I'm about to show you on our screen. I tell you, and I want you to click on those publications, and it will take you to the necessary location to find out more intimate information and about the author as well as the publications. I am so very excited, and I am also honored to present to some and introduce to others this amazing young man. And we have him back, and we have you back, and we're all back here with DW Duke here on the GMAP Broadcast Network, one of our featured authors. And again, good evening, sir. How you doing?
I'm great, Kevin. How are you doing?
I am, you know what, now I am fantabulous. We got all the intimate details worked out, the technical issues. Our partner networks are joining us. And you know, they also submitted a surprise to me. They said they're going to re-air our broadcast at no expense to us whatsoever. So all of the people that may had to step out or do not get the opportunity to look at this exclusive live conversation, they're going to re-air it on all three platforms for us. I think they said today being Wednesday, is it already? Man, it can't be Wednesday already.
I think it's Tuesday.
Okay, thank you, because I know it can't be Wednesday. Okay, they're going to re-air it for us on Thursday and Friday of this week, and all three platforms just said they apologized, but it was something that they could not avoid. Something went out, and they had to replace it real quick, and now we're back, and they're back, and there is no problems with what we have to offer. So again, Mr. Duke, I want you to step up to the plate. I want you to sincerely just come in, introduce yourself, tell us who you are, tell us where you're from. Who is Mr. D.W. Duke?
Okay, I am an attorney. I practice in California. I do a lot of work in human rights, largely in the Middle East and in Africa, in the United States, of course, too. I have a production publication company called Duke Entertainment Group with my cousin Pat Duke, who many of you may know as the voice of the narrator for Swamp People. Anybody watches Swamp People? And despite the fact that he does Swamp People, he's not a redneck, not at all. He does the show, but he's a great guy. And we wanted to put together a production company that's totally unlike anything else. So what we do, we focus on important issues. For example, the story of Jesse Washington, the young man who was lynched in Waco, Texas in 1917, who most likely was in it, based on my review of the court transcripts and everything. We want to do that. And again, the purpose is not to cause racial division. The purpose is for us to sit down and take an honest look at history, take an honest look at what has happened in the world so that we can do better, so that we can be better people going forward. We have another project about, actually he's a cousin of mine who was a Jewish resistance fighter in the Holocaust in Poland in World War II. He was 8 years old when Germany invaded, and by the age of 10, he was working as a sniper for the resistance. We did a book on him. We have another one about Washington Duke, after whom Duke University is named, because he had built this massive empire and was very, very generous in the work that he did, and wanted to make sure that there were fair opportunities for people everywhere. In Search of the Golden Chalice, of course, is our topic for today. And that's the one that I think is it's caused quite a bit of stir, both on Amazon and elsewhere.
Quite a bit of stir. So I know there's going to be quite a few people that's going to be interested in that stir in search of the golden chalice. Why don't you, break that down for us a little bit? What is this particular publication all about?
Okay. Well, I was working with Taiwo Fagbo Hungby, a young man in West Africa, on the Jesse Washington story. He's an expert in the Atlantic slave trade and Jim Crow era. So we worked together to write the book on Jesse Washington. And, this took us a couple of years to work on it. And we worked with other people in that region of the world. And we got to talking about many features of West Africa. And one thing that really puzzled me, and I kept saying, why is the shrine of the Queen of Sheba located at Jebu, which is just outside of Lagos? Why is it not way over in Ethiopia? So we started looking into it, and we learned some very fascinating things. There's a belief among people there, many people there, that the Yoruba people are actually was a derivation of the name Yehuda, which is Hebrew for Judah, the tribe of Judah, because they believe that they are descended from the empire of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. Now, when you look at the Bible, First Kings, Second Chronicles, there's a discussion of the relationship with the Queen of Sheba, but it doesn't go very deep. But it talks a little bit about it, and then it just kind of trails off, and there's not much about the latter part of King Solomon's life. But the fascinating thing, so I start looking, I start doing research, and I find out they're saying, hey, guess who wrote Song of Songs? It's not just one guy writing. You've got two people. It's a duet. It was the Queen of Sheba and King Solomon writing to each other in a duet format. In the second chapter, she actually identifies herself as a black woman married to King Solomon.
Right.
So it makes perfect sense that that is most likely the Queen of Sheba. And so then we look further and we found out that they have this tradition that the Queen of Sheba and King Solomon were married. They had a son named Ben Sarah, who became known as Prince Menelik I and was a very powerful prince throughout Africa. The basic empire was 1,000,000 square miles and encompassed Ethiopia and Yemen, but it went all over, went all the way into South Africa, it went into West Africa. It was a massive empire. And King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, according to this tradition, they had a traveling type of kingdom. They were always going on these long journeys. And it wasn't just like wagon train with 300 wagons. It was like thousands of people would go with them. So it was almost like a city living, and they would travel. And they traveled back and forth from West Africa. So we start looking some more. We find out that the Queen of Sheba's shrine is in an area called Jebu. Well, the Jebusites were the people who lived in Jerusalem when King David was there. And at first, the Israelites were not allowed to marry them because they were not Jewish. They had not adopted Judaism as their faith. But then when they did, it was okay to intermarry. So what they believe is that this migration was more circular. It wasn't simply Israel to Ethiopia. It was much broader than that and encompassed West Africa. So we keep looking deeper and deeper. We find out many things. And Billy Graham and missionaries over the years have discovered that they were practicing Israelite customs, for example, circumcision on the 8th day. Now, how on earth would people in the middle of Africa have that if they weren't connected somehow to the Jewish people?
Right.
And there were a lot of different things like that, blowing the shofar before battles, celebrating Shabbat. I mean, all of these things were going on. Now, it wasn't necessarily practiced throughout the entire nation of people, but it was very common and kind of an esoteric part of their culture. So what we did, we wanted to blend tradition, history, and mythology to create a fascinating story. And this is how he came up with In Search of the Golden Chalice. Basically, 3 descendants of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba, royal bloodline, were called to look for the chalice to find the chalice that King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba drank from at their wedding. But it was actually a pretext. The real goal was to get them to go to Chapelwadi Mountain, where they would meet with elders and leaders, and they would learn that the Atlantic slave trade, the transatlantic slave trade, which at that time was primarily Portugal and Britain, this was in 1617, was coming into Africa and planning to invade and enslave all of the people in West Africa, either kill them or enslave them. And so what they did with 2,700 warriors, they stood up against 20,000 Portugal and British troops and defeated them. And they defeated them in, I don't want to give away the story, so I won't say too much, but I will say they won. That's the punchline. They won. So
Okay. Oh my goodness! And I tell you that it sounds amazing, and I know there's going to be quite a few people who's going to be interested in showing their love, care, concern, and support. And once again, we want you all to know DW Duke is one of our featured authors, and we're here with him live today on the GMAP Broadcast Network. We encourage you to stop by our platform. Click on the tab that is simply titled Featured Authors, and the publication we've currently was speaking about, In Search of the Golden Chalice. We want you to make sure you click on that cover. It will take you to the necessary location. Find out more intimate information and details about the author as well as the publication, how you can purchase, and so on. But there are also 2 additional publications that we've added to our featured authors area. And of course, we know that you may be very interested in Because I'm Black. Oh, I'm not going to say anything else. And of course, the Duke Legacy. I tell you, we are excited about that as well. We want you to show your love, care, concern, and support. And DW Duke, if someone did want to show their love, care, concern, and support today, what's the process? I mean, how can your books be purchased?
they're all on Amazon. You can get all of them on Amazon if you like. Most people, shop on Amazon, so that's usually the easiest way, but they're all available.
Okay, now let me ask you this. You've been through your challenges with writing these publications, and I know you're a very busy man. I mean, attorney, producer, book author. I mean, you got a lot of irons in the fire, but let me ask you this. After you look over the entire process from where it all began, the journey that you had to take, and where you are now, well, of course, that's here on GMAP. We won't forget that. What's next? I mean, what's next for you as a person? What's next for you as an author?
Well, our primary goal at this point, I do have another book coming out in January, which is called The Last Prophecy. I think that is going to also have a very popular response, similar to Chalice. But we're taking all of our books. We have screenplays. We've created screenplays out of them. And we are planning to make motion pictures out of each of these books. And because the public really, they're educational tools. We want people to learn to think about these issues and to understand and to develop a sense of empathy and to try, we'll do the little part that we can do to help get the world back on track where we should have been had we not deviated thousands of years ago with, the way we are in the world today.
Right. Wow. Well, I'm going to ask you this personally and publicly. May I please have the opportunity to invite you back, because I want to get more intimate and in more detail about you as a person, you as an author, you as a producer, there's so many wonderful things, and I want people to know who you are. And of course, how best for them to know that unless they hear it from you. So I want to make sure that we can have the opportunity to invite you back to get more intimate into more additional information outside of just the publications. We want to learn about the motion pictures that you're planning. We want to learn about all of that good stuff. So I'm going to ask you publicly, and remember now, the record button is on. So if you agree, and then you say no when I call you, I'm gonna rewind the tape and press play. So I want you to know that. So first of all, may we invite you back?
I would love to come back.
Oh,
That would be great. It's a good time. Yeah, we have a wonderful time.
oh my goodness! And you know what? It's an amazing thing. Now, if someone wanted to reach out and connect with you on a more, I guess you could say, individual basis and discuss some of the things that you have going on, is there some particular information that you don't mind sharing on how you can be reached?
Probably the simplest way to reach me, if someone just goes to the California State Bar and puts in my name, DW Duke, or the other part of my name, David W. Duke, I will come up that way. They can contact. I'm pretty easy to find on the internet. Just plug in DW Duke, you'll find me everywhere. A lot of articles and things that have been written about me and what I do, and then I've put a lot of things out there as well. So very easy to find.
Oh, right. Well, you know what? Now, I know you're an attorney and all that good stuff. May I put down a retainer just in case we run into any headaches in the future or something? Oh my goodness. So I tell you, I am so excited for you. I am grateful once again that you had time to be patient with us today and our partner networks. And they thank you. They're going to re-air this conversation so they can hear more in detail. And they're going to look forward to, of course, having you back to learn even more about some of the amazing things that you're doing. But I got to thank you so much for just, number one, being here today. Number two, accepting the invitation to be a part of our broadcast network family. We're going to continue to present you and your information. We're starting to receive videos that we're able to air, and we're going to do it through the holidays and make sure that we present you and your publications to as many people as possible. Just quickly, if you don't mind, I know this is another publication that we currently have on our broadcast network site, Because I'm Black. If if you don't mind, maybe just tell us a little bit about that publication.
Okay. Well, Because I'm Black, and again, I wrote that with Taiwo Fagbahungbi, the young man from West Africa. It's really a kind of a sad story. I had run across it at one point in my career, and I had wrote several magazine articles about it because I looked at the evidence. I looked at the trial court transcripts, and in my view, this man was not guilty at all, not even remotely. The evidence didn't even remotely. There were so many errors and so many mistakes. For one thing, he was supposed to have 30 days to prepare a defense. He was given 7. Under Texas law at that time, you're supposed to get 30. There were just so many things that were wrong, and I said, this really needs to be brought forward. People need to be aware of this story because this is a 17-year-old man, a normal person. He had a girlfriend. He was planning to be married. His goal was to have his own. He wanted to have a cotton farm, and this was in 1916. That was still the Jim Crow era. And the wife of the owner of the farm where he worked was murdered, and they blamed him. And they blamed him most likely because he was the only black man that was working at the location. There was a confession from a white man. A confession was not even introduced at trial. There was a confession that he supposedly did. He couldn't read and write, but he signed an X to it. And then when we look at that, we find out that there's things that he confessed to that didn't even occur.
Wow.
So we know that the confession is false. We know that the
Right.
confession was false. He had blood on his shirt, and they felt that that was the most incriminating evidence. Yet witnesses claim that he had gotten into a fight with a white man in a bar the night before. He was a young man. He was very, very, very muscular, very athletic, and he basically took on the KKK as a
Right,
young
right.
black man in 1916. He was not afraid of it, and he was ready to die if he had to. He was, he was not going to go down with it. So that happened. That's how we account for the blood. And then the most incriminating thing at all for the prosecutor to me, after she was murdered, he stayed and plowed the field for another 5 hours before coming up. Who murders somebody and then goes out and plows the field?
Right, right.
None of it
Wow.
made sense. This man was innocent. There's no question in my mind he was innocent. I know who did it. I'm not going to say his name, but I'm convinced I know who did it. The same man who
Wow.
confessed.
Because I'm Black. That's another publication that's on in our featured authors area on the GMAP broadcast network, one that you definitely want to consider purchasing and showing your support, sharing the information with all of your followers, family, and friends. And last but not least, another edition that we have implemented is the Duke Legacy. The Duke Legacy, I just want you to just come on in, Duke, and break it down for us. Let us know a little bit about this one as well.
Okay, well, many of you probably remember back in the 1990s when Doris Duke died. There was they actually made a movie about it called Too Rich because, all of the problems that she had faced. She was essentially murdered by her butler. And she was the wealthiest woman in the world at that time. So we went back to her grandfather, who was the nephew of one of my ancestors, and we did a lot of research and we put together a story that tells the narrative of him growing up and what happened and He was born in 1820 in North Carolina, and we talk about how he built this empire. He built a tobacco empire. Now, the odd thing is, back then, it was believed that tobacco had medicinal value. Doctors were telling people that had respiratory problems, go out and smoke. That's the best thing for you because it'll clean out your lungs. So he thought he was creating a medicine. He thought he was creating a medicinal property. But he built this massive empire. And then as he got older, shortly after he died, doctors began saying, wait a minute, we're not so sure that tobacco is good for you. So his sons discovered that it was harmful. They divested all of their tobacco holdings in the United States and invested in hydroelectric power, which is why today we have Duke Energy. But the greatest thing that came out of what the family did, of course, is Duke University. Everybody knows Duke University, and especially the people that love basketball.
Right,
So,
right. Ah,
yeah,
right.
that's the
Wow.
story. Yeah, that's the story. It's about that family.
Wow, man, and amazing. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Again, we thank God for you. And of course, once again, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, our partner networks, we encourage you to share this information with as many people as possible. We know the holidays are coming up. You may want to give them as a gift because people need to know the information that's listed. They need to read more about the intimate information that Mr. Duke has shared with us on today. Share it with your followers, family, and friends, social media, Facebook. I mean, you share everything else on Facebook. Let's share this too. And of course, Mr. Duke, we want to dig deep, and we're going to be inviting you back real soon to find out more of some of the other great things that you have. Now, I don't know if you can run them down for us right now, but can you give us a complete list before people go looking for you on Amazon of the publications that you have available right now?
I'm sorry, yeah, provide what now? I didn't quite follow.
Provide us with the information, the books, all the books that you have written. I want you to just give us a list of them right now. Just name them.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, there's about 9 total, but the ones that are currently available, you have Because I'm Black, the story of Jesse Washington, Not Without a Fight, which is about a Polish resistance fighter in World War II Poland, The Duke Legacy that we just saw, and then also In Search of the Golden Chalice. There is one coming out in January called The Last Prophecy, which is about a romance between a Muslim woman and a Jewish man who met in medical school in the United States, then both wind up back in the Holy Land and experience the war that's going on in Gaza right now today. So that book will be out in January.
Wow. Man, I tell you, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to inviting you back. I'm looking forward to even witnessing the re-airing and the rebroadcast that are going to be coming up this week on our partner networks as well. We're going to continue to do everything we can. We appreciate you on today. We appreciate everything you're doing. And of course, I thank God for you. And again, thank you so much for accepting the invitation because I want to be one of those avenues to help present this information and these publications to as many people as I possibly can. And of course, we're going to continue to do everything in our power. So if there's anything that you need us to do, help us let the world know that you're going to be making an appearance, a book signing, what have you, special events. We want you to pick up the phone and let us know if there's anything we can do, any shape, form, or fashion. When you call and say, Kevin, I can use your assistance, I want you to know the answer will always be yes, and you will never, ever have to ask me twice, okay?
That is great, Kevin. I appreciate it. And I want to tell you that you are doing wonderful work. You are a light, you're a beacon out there that is needed so much in the world today. And especially as being a platform for authors who have important messages to deliver and your own message. I love listening to the music on your
Oh, thank you.
on your
Oh, my goodness.
great music. Oh, the jazz.
Oh,
Oh man, that's
everything.
awesome stuff.
Thank you
Oh
so much
yeah.
for that. And of course, we're going to continue. We got a major announcement coming up this Sunday. I'm going to sneak peek and share it with you. I am in the process of being allowed to have the first black-owned and operated radio station here in the city of Waukegan, coming in the early months of next year. It has been approved. I'm excited about that because people need to understand that all we really have to do is follow our dreams. Our destiny was determined before our delivery, and we have to embrace the process. And the process is never easy. You get those that try to pull you down, hold you back, but continue to move forward. And I'm encouraged by what you're doing because you don't mind stepping up and stepping out on faith and letting the world know the truth. And the truth behind some of the intimate information that you've shared with us today is very important. And of course, we want you to continue to do what you're doing, be blessed and be a blessing, and keep us posted. I'll reach out to you. I'll let you know what it is that we have available, and then we're going to invite you back soon. So I want you to know that as well, okay?
That's my pleasure. I'd love to come back.
One of our featured authors here on the #1 station in the nation, GMAP Broadcast Network, DW Duke. Stop by our platform, click on featured authors, take a click on the books that he has placed there, and make sure you show your love, care, concern, and support. Purchase a copy, share the information, share the copies, and please go back and leave a review. Leave a review. Okay? Very important for Mr. Duke. Very important for those that are on the outside looking in, considering to show their support. Very important for me. I want to know what you think. So, Mr. Duke, we'll be talking with you again soon. We thank you so much and have a fantabulous rest of your day. And I'll keep you posted on when we can have you back, okay?
Great. I appreciate it. Blessings to you too.
DW Duke, featured author right here on the #1 station in the nation, GMAP Broadcast Network, GMAP1.com. Don't move. Don't go anywhere. We got more great stuff coming up a little bit later on the show. God bless.
From Fort Wayne, Indiana, to the world stage, D.W. Duke has dedicated his life to justice, truth, and storytelling. He earned his degree in economics and psychology from the University of Michigan, followed by a Doctor of Jurisprudence at Washington University's School of Law. Today, he is a Los Angeles attorney and lecturer, deeply involved in human rights across the Middle East. Beyond the courtroom, he is an accomplished musician and a martial artist, holding a 5th-degree black belt in Taekwondo and a 6th-degree black belt in Jigakwon, conferred by the World Taekwondo Federation in Seoul, Korea. But D.W. Duke's greatest legacy is through his words. As the author of 9 books, his works explore history, justice, and the resilience of the human spirit. Because I'm Black, the story of Jesse Washington, inspired by true events in 1916 Waco, Texas. In Search of the Golden Chalice, The Untold Story, a powerful tale of warriors who fought to end the Atlantic slave trade. And other acclaimed works, including The Duke Legacy, Not Without a Fight, and Palestine. D.W. Duke, an attorney, a fighter, a voice for justice, and an author whose words illuminate the past to inspire the future. Discover his books, available now on Amazon.